Hi, Chris from Channel X TV here. Delighted to be joined today by Al from ZigZag, who we last spoke to, I think, back in January time. But things have moved on since then, and a lot to talk about today. So, welcome, Al. How are you?
I'm good, Chris. Lovely to see you again.
And you. Now, first of all, before we get into talking about ZigZag and returns, I hear congratulations are in order. You've just won a Drapers award. Tell us about that. What was it for, and how did you get to win?
Yeah, it's a big one for us actually. We'd never won a Drapers Award before, so it's nice to do that finally. So it was the award for retail tech innovation. It was presented on Wednesday night in front of about 400 of the UK's fashion retailers. So nice to be recognised for what we're doing, and obviously we work with a lot of fashion retailers. So it's a very nice thing to be recognised by the industry for the work we're doing to help retailers manage returns.
And huge congratulations. But talking of fashion retailers, let's just dive straight in. We all know that fashion probably has more returns than any other retail category online. And even in store, they still get enough returns. But part of your award was for your Returns Reporting Hub, which we've not spoken about before. So tell me, what does the Returns Reporting Hub from ZigZag do for a retailer? What information can they get from it?
So firstly, it's a kind of high level overview of what's happening within your business. So why you're getting returns in the first place, how you're performing. So are your returns up or down based on week, month on month, year on year. We're looking at return reasons. So why your product's coming back. What's the reason that your customers are choosing to return products? And that drills right down to it could be sizing issues. It could be the images on the website are wrong. It could be the wrong products are in your warehouse, in your locations of picking bays, and that's causing you to send out the wrong the wrong items. We're also looking at data discrepancies. So that's things like missing HS codes. It could be missing descriptions or incorrect descriptions. And then we're looking at transit time. So things like carriers delivering late, or is an outbound delivery causing you a higher return rate, which can be a real problem for retailers. Finally, then we're looking at the revenue on returns. So are paid returns driving any revenue for you, or are your returns costing you a lot of money? And should you look at charging for paid returns in certain markets? And we've got a look at what we call toxic products. So these are products with a higher than average return rate that cause your return rates to spike in certain categories.
And that's really interesting, because we often think of returns as just like, we know a large percentage of fashion products are going to be returned because people will buy it in 3 different sizes and pick the one that fits and return 2 regardless. But the toxic products is really interesting, whether there's that one product that is just causing you more returns issues than ever. Have you got kind of examples of what a retailer can do when they identify a toxic product? Is it a case of just stop selling it online and sell it in store? Is there something else they can be doing?
Yeah, a few things. So first of all, it's identifying which ones are your toxic products. So setting the barrier per category or per product group to work out where the trigger point should be. And if you see a spike in returns, then we can tell you early so that you don't end up selling lots more of the same product that's going to come back. Secondly, it might be working out which suppliers are causing your toxic products. So it could be down to manufacturing issues. It could even be down to packaging, actually. So we have seen some retailers, they're selling good product but badly packaged, and it's arriving damaged. And that can cause a problem in itself. So it can create a spike in the returns rate when there's actually nothing wrong with the item. It's just not getting there in one piece.
And I guess something like a jumper, it doesn't matter how many times it's folded, but something like a suit, if it arrives with creases all over it, it's likely to get an instant return.
Yeah, or if it's a breakable item, you've really got to make sure that you're packaging them correctly. We had one retailer that was selling high value footwear, and they were sending it out in low value packaging. And the problem was the boxes, they were slippers. They were usually arriving as Christmas presents, and because the box looked battered, they just weren't making a good present. So people were sending them back, even though there was nothing wrong with the product.
I understand, and it's that case where if it's footwear, the box is almost part of the product, isn't it? And I guess that's probably even worse for things like sneakers, where they're highly collectible and they're not just giftable, but the value plummets if you haven't got the box and everything to go with it.
That's right. So I think retailers being able to get hold of that data, we were able to surface that data to the manufacturer. They went and changed the packaging. The return rate halved.
That is amazing. Now, something else you touched on, which I'm really interested to explore, is you were talking about paid returns versus free returns. And there's been a lot over the past year of retailers who are looking at their costs and saying, okay, maybe we should charge, even if it's a minimal amount, for returns. And then some of them have reversed the decision. What's right? What's wrong? What is the best strategy? And when will consumers happily pay for returns, and when are they just going to stop buying if they've got to pay?
So we see most retailers that switch paid returns on actually don't switch it off. What they are tending to do is now use it as a promotion. So you might say, we're going to charge you for returns. We'll charge you, let's say, $1.99 for a drop-off. We'll charge you $3.99 for a collection, and it might be free if you walk into store and do a store return. But what they're now starting to do is leverage that. So weekends like Black Friday, you might see them offer free returns over Black Friday weekend, for example, but paid otherwise. We have seen in the luxury sector, they're still offering free returns more frequently than not. But as you get down to the fast fashion and the lower end of the market, where the price points are really competitive, paid returns are becoming the norm, actually.
So that's interesting, something that consumers should definitely bear in mind. But is there any retailers that are doing anything particularly innovative with returns? I know the worst thing with a return is the product comes back and you have to refund the client, and that's the end of it. Better is if you can persuade them maybe they've returned because it is the wrong size, or they didn't like the color and they order a different color or different size or replacement, or even a credit to order a different product. What are retailers doing to keep the money in the business, and what could they be looking at to do more to retain the sale?
Saving the sale is absolutely imperative, actually. So especially as margins are tight these days, and I think two or three things you can do. So exchanges would be one. So offering replacement items, usually different size, different color, is the highest return reason. So about 70% of returns come back for those reasons. So if you can offer the customer a replacement in the same range or a similar range, then we support that. Secondly, we are offering a refund to a credit note, a gift card, which has got some pretty good uptake, actually. And I think retailers are seeing less pushback from that. There's low numbers of customers that don't want it. I think most customers are happy to have it as an option. If they really want their cash back, they'll choose that as the option. But actually, as you get to the younger demographic, it's over half are happy to offer to accept a gift card if it's offered. So it's important that retailers have that in their arsenal to be able to save the sale.
And from a strategic point of view, what's actually best for the retailer? Is it better for them if I order, maybe I'm buying a new suit jacket, is it better for me to order it in 3 different sizes and send 2 back? Or is it better for the retailer for me to buy one and then if it doesn't fit, return it for a replacement of a size up or a size down? What should the industry be trying to achieve?
I don't think there's a natural right answer to that, because I think customer wants the choice, and they want to be able to try stuff on at home, and ideally they probably want both of those at the same time so they can make an informed decision, because they're not sure if they have to then go and reorder that, whether that second one's going to be right either. So it's probably better to do it in one hit. What the retailer wants is they want to get that stock back in the supply chain nice and quickly. So they don't want customers sitting on stock that's sitting in the back of their car or in their porch and waiting to be returned. They actually want to get it back on sale quickly. And what retailers will see over the Black Friday to Christmas period, there's going to be literally millions of pounds tied up that can't be sold as it hasn't yet been returned, and it can't yet be sold again. So the sooner that retailer can get that stock back on the shelf, the more chance they've got selling that again before Christmas.
And I think it's worth mentioning the amount of returns that ZigZag actually process in a year. And I think I saw a number that you processed like 1.5 billion pounds worth of returns, which is
it shows you the scale of the problem that we're trying to address. I mean, there are some large retailers that we work with, not just in fashion, but across all sorts of sectors. We're working with electronics retailers, we're working with fashion retailers, we're working with supermarkets, we're working with department stores and sports retailers, and so on. But we're also selling return solutions to carriers and marketplaces, and even digital platforms as well. So the problem's worldwide. We're in 170 countries now, and so when we started the business, we were probably serving half a dozen countries, and then about maybe 50 countries quite quickly, but now it's 170.
Which is pretty much almost all of the world. I think you've only got about 20, 30 countries left to go.
Absolutely, yeah.
So looking forward to 2024, what do you forecast as coming next for the returns side of e-commerce? Is it just narrowing down on the toxic items and getting rid of as many returns as possible, or are there new innovative solutions that can come in? And I say new innovative solutions. ZigZag, you're not a new business anymore, but when you were first founded, you were pretty much one of the most innovative return solutions out there. So what's next for ZigZag and the returns industry for the next 12 to 24 months?
So we're just rolling out Apple Pay and Google Pay to make it easier for customers to pay for returns. We've also done a lot of work around auto refunds to help retailers trigger refunds nice and quickly to get customers to get their money back. And we've also been working a lot on the kiosks, so helping stores retailers have a return to store solution, again, where you could offer a free return into store, but you can have a drop-off kiosk in that store, so you don't have to have customers queuing at the till, and that's working really well. So we've got a small set of retailers piloting our kiosks now, and that's definitely a focus as retailers still want that footfall.
That's really interesting, because if you can offer them you're going to pay £2 for a drop off at an Every or a Yodel shop or something, or you can have a free drop off in store and you've not even got to queue up. For me as a consumer, that's a much more attractive proposition. But B, you're actually getting that customer returning a product actually in the store to do the drop off, which has got to be a good thing and increase the chance of the next purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we want to service all ends of the market. So you might like that, but then your neighbor might prefer a locker solution that might be 24-hour, and the neighbor on the other side might want a supermarket that's easier for parking. So we've got different. We've got post office, we've got drop off, we've got collection from home, we've got locker, and now we've got return to store. So it's pretty much all bases covered.
Fantastic. Sounds like an awful lot going on. I'm sure we'll catch up again in the near future, Al. But once again, congratulations on that Drapers Award. Huge accolade for ZigZag and the whole company. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Chris. Always a pleasure.